etc. Oh, so I hope this video will keep going because it's saying that it's not. But yeah. So that was just amazing. So that day the rainbows did abound wonderfully. So yeah, we saw we it, just a note because I think I missed this part, but when we were in the mountain at the mountain on Haleakala, Haleakala, saw rare birds and animals. Some were endangered. Uh, it was a sweet goodbye to the upcountry. That the move into the condo and the Airbnb from the Airbnb in the upcountry to the Airbnb that was down in the condo by the beach. So yeah, that was that national park piece. And on Destiny's birthday, we went to brunch and had a wonderful time. An excellent view, the best view ever, like up in up country some more, so we could see down like towards the beach and all of that, and it was just wondrous. All that was on Tuesday, and I think I might have said it was Wednesday, but it was on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we went. That was the day that we left there. So that Wednesday was the day we were leaving, and that's the day that we went on a water excursion to see dolphins and whales. Now, normally, one of those water excursions would cost like $100, around $100, $95 per person, and there were 6 of us. And that doesn't include tipping and all that other kind of stuff. And they do have lots of amenities, so you have some food and drinking on the catamaran. It was a catamaran that we were going out into the ocean on to see the dolphins. Spinner dolphins are the dolphins that we see in the Pacific there. So they're not the bottlenose dolphins, but the spinner dolphins. And the whales, which we were a little bit early to see. Whales are normally there closer to December as opposed to mid-November. So we were just a couple weeks early for the whales. But there had been some spotted. And then sea turtles are also something that you'll see quite a bit in Maui as well. And so, yeah, so they had all of those available. They were there. We got to see the spinner dolphins, amazing and beautiful creatures. The water itself was just amazing and beautiful. The horizons, you could see a couple of the other islands, in different spots from the catamaran as we went through the water. The water itself was beautiful. We could see the sea turtles. In some cases, there were sharks. I didn't get to see the sharks close up, but there were some sharks that we heard tell of as well in the waters during the time our catamaran was out. And just crystal blue water, just beautiful, right? And seeing those neighboring islands, having an amazing time. And when I say drinks, I don't mean alcohol drinks were on the boat. They had like Pog, which is like a fruit punch. And then they had water, and they had, I think, lemonade. They had sodas and things like that. But it was really an amazing time on the ocean. The weather was stellar. It was amazing, wonderful. And so once we finished that trip, which was an amazing trip, it was an amazing trip. The dolphins alone were amazing, and everything else was amazing too. So yeah, once we finished that, we walked through like a little town area where we visited some shops and things like that, just off the beach, and or I should say just off the dock, because we weren't at the beach yet. There were beaches down where we went. We stopped and got Dole Whip, which I don't do ice cream because ice cream doesn't like my tummy. But this was made purely of pineapples, and it tasted like ice cream. Tasted like pineapple ice cream. And they call it Dole Whip because it's made from Dole pineapples, I guess. So we had the Dole Whip, which was so good. Oh my goodness. And then I found out they have Dole Whip like in the States where I live. And yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give me some Dole Whip. So I will be doing that. And we also went to a kava bar. And so kava is an earth root that you can find in Polynesian areas. And Maui is one of those places you can find kava. So they grow it, and indigenous peoples, the Polynesians, use it as a health kind of drink. And so it's supposed to, calm you from anxiety, kind of keep you mellow, not like a drug or anything like that, but just, just kind of keep you eased and whatever. It does have like a little numbing effect of your tongue, and maybe even your throat a little bit sometimes, I guess. But I guess that's supposed to be one of the draws of it. I don't know. And if you've seen the little video that I made from that one, it was very earthy, very earthy taste. When I say earthy, I mean actual earth that you pick up off, the ground. And so so it was that, and the root is ground into a powder, and then they just put it in water. They stir it in water, and make a drink out of it, like a little health drink out of it. They do use it, or did, those who are still in communities where they do have tribal not ceremonies in that, but gatherings and things like that. That'll be something that they'll have as a drink that's cultural. That's one of their cultural drinks. And so so then we went to have dinner, and all the dinner was fresh from the ocean because it's right there. So I had an appetizer that was ahi, and then I had mahi mahi for my main course, but I had to have them take the appetizer back because it was seared mahi, which I don't know if you kind of get that language, but yeah, maybe I don't eat out enough, because it came pink, and I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing pink meat. So you're gonna have to take it back, please. Can you have them to like cook it so there's no pink? I said burn it. She was like, you mean so there's no pink? And I'm like, yeah. So we got to do that. And the place where we went to eat was a little restaurant right off of the beach where they did these luau's. And so we got to watch the luau while we ate from the restaurant. Now, the people who paid money to see the luau were actually sitting on the beach, but they paid nearly $300. It was like $265 plus drinks, tax, to have all inclusive whatever. And this luau, this authentic, luau, Polynesian dancing and serving them and all of those kinds of things. And so we didn't have to spend that either. That $265 per person for a luau. Yeah, which didn't include tips and those kinds of things. So so we got information from our cousin Taylor, who also was the person who orchestrated our free tickets to the whale watching. We were supposed to just get discounted tickets for the dolphin whale watching, but it turned out that we were able to get free ones when we were headed toward the excursion, because of some connections that our cousin Taylor had, who Taylor actually lives there and works there on one of the boats, or in some of the boats, for one of the boat companies. The boat company that we took out was a non-for-profit organization that helps to conserve and educate around the animals in the ocean, and preserving the ocean waters, and endangered species and those kinds of things. So so that was awesome and amazing as well. Very, very good food, all of those things. So then we went to our next lodging place, which was the condo. And the condo was right off the beach. You could walk right over to the beach, and they had little shops as well that you could walk to. So so we did that. Condo had, pretty great amenities, a nice little lanai, uh, just like a little balcony on the outside, washer and dryer, and, got to do a little laundry before we left up country, and then finish it off when we got to the condo, which is really great. Awesome and amazing. Amazing sleeping arrangements, too, all of that. Just every little thing, that God made. And there was a nice little rooftop spot to see the sun rise behind the mountains. And there was the beach to go to watch the sunrise there, and all of that. So then we got to the following day, which was my last day there. And that day we did a little, me and Destiny anyway, the morning people, we did a little walk along the beach at sunrise. So we watched the sun come up over behind the mountains a little bit, and then we went down to the beach for the rest of the sunrise to head over that way. Walked and talked to some really cool people. Saw a payphone, a working payphone. Yeah, I was like, okay. Loving Maui's a little bit behind the times. Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, a little payphone right on the beach. Yeah, if we still had operating payphones in my city, I probably wouldn't have a cell phone, because that's the only reason I got a cell phone, is because payphones no longer worked. And now they no longer exist, at least not in our city. So yeah, except maybe in airports. But yeah, so got to do that, and then walked around in the little town at the shops. Uh, got some souvenirs and things like that. Got some shaved ice. So yeah, that was really good. Yeah, and then we went to change into our all white. The people that got up late, they already had their all white on, but I didn't want to put mine on until, the time. And so we went to Black Sand Beach for exploration. Some did snorkeling and such, did a little photo shoot. And then it was off to the airport for me for my flight home, which my uncle took me to the airport. So got to be with him at the beginning of the trip solo, got to be with him at the end of the trip solo, undivided attention, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, just the amazingness of God in every sunset, in every sunrise, in every, moo of the cows or crow of the rooster, at the sunrise, and the chirping of the birds, and just to see the beautiful colors and flowers and all of those things. Before we did the photo shoot, we went and got live flower lays to wear for that. That's one of the traditions of Hawaii, and so we did that as well, and just so many things that were indicative and evident of God's glory, of His grace, of His love toward us. Every time we saw another blessing, another thing that was provided for us that we didn't know or thought we would have to pay for and didn't have to pay for, and the amenities that were available that we love so much, and all of those things, we were just thanking God. As a family, we were thanking God. We were sharing the little, things that were blessings to us with one another. And, I shared them with, those who had asked me to send pictures and things like that. And it just has been and was and is such a blessing, and such an opportunity for having those God focals on, in that 24/7 kind of way, that everything is amazing always and all the time, and such a blessing. And to see that God has done that just for, me, just for my family, just for us, just for those who we bless, to be able to share that with us, and all of those pieces. So just wanted to share the testimony, to share the Hawaii 5-0 testimony the Jubilee testimony, how God's ways, his plans, the things that he ordains are far better and greater than our own plans could ever be. And his glory, his majesty shines through when we allow it to. And so I just encourage our hearts to see the blessing, to see the goodness and the greatness of God that he is pouring out on us always, that everything is bigger, with him, exceeding abundantly above what we can ask or think, according to his Holy Spirit power in us, right? And that John 10:10 is true. He's come that we would have life in abundance to the full till it overflows. And that's what the trip felt like. It felt like life in abundance to the full till it overflows, from the mountains to the valleys to the oceans to the beaches to all of the things encompassing, and to get to share that with family and to experience that with ones who give God glory as well, to be able to be a blessing to others, and receive the blessings, and one of the things, we would do with one another, as my family, we would do things for one another sometimes, for instance, somebody might pick up the meal bill or whatever, and just pay it for everybody, or this and that. And, I would always say and always think to myself, if someone's giving me the blessing, my first inclination, no, it's okay, you don't have to, but I'm not going to be a blessing blocker. And so anytime they wanted to do something for me, and I started to get that way, I stopped myself and I would tell them thank you. And I'd say, I'm not going to be a blessing blocker. Thank you for doing that for me. And I love you and appreciate you and thank God for you, for using you that way. Yeah. And like I said, selling books as I was there as well. Just so much, and just overjoyed and elated. The one thing I didn't send a picture of, because I couldn't really get a good one. I think my cousin did though, so maybe I'll send it afterwards. But the night sky was also amazingly glorious. I cannot tell you the number of stars you could see in that clear night sky. Oh my goodness. It was like the ocean turned upside down. So you see the clear blue water in that ocean that I gave. Then you take the sky and you flip that up, and then you think of that as just a transparent way to see, like, right through, and all of the light shining through in that unencumbered sky, that wasn't polluted, that wasn't, filled with anything else but the glory. And so just wanted to share all of that with you all. I pray that it has been a blessing to you. Take the limits off of God, and as he allows you to experience his glory and his wonder, receive that. The situations and circumstances that come to us that may seem like they are out of sorts, or things that shouldn't happen, or bad things, or turn that around, put your God focals on, and look at that in a different way. Look at that the way he's looking at it, that he wants to bless you in it. That whole situation with my uncle and the plane and the weather and the fire and all that gave him the opportunity to spend, without having to spend any extra money, to spend with his family in Portland, and then to meet me on the plane and ride with me for the 5 hours. Not just come pick me up from the airport, but to ride with me for the 5 hours, to ask the questions, to hear what had been going on in my life, to share what had been going on in his life, to, enjoy one another's company, all of that. And had none of that happened, had God not orchestrated that, then it wouldn't have turned out that way. He wouldn't have had that precious, valuable time to spend with us that way. And so just wanted to share those things to give you some perspective, and also to just testify. We overcome by his blood, but also by the word of our testimony. And I cannot thank God enough for Jubilee and for Hawaii Five-0. Love you all. Multiply blessings of love and peace. Shalom, shalom.